kudos to here. Once you've mastered the basic footwork drills, it's time to move on to some more advanced intermediate level drills. First, we're going to use the forward movement drill and add some more punches into it. In the basic drill, we move forward with a 1-2, and we added punches into that combination. Now we're going to add extra footwork into that combination. We're going to move forward with a 1-2, and then immediately move forward again with the same movement for a long hook straight punch. So it's 1-2, hook punch. Turn around and do the same thing towards the back. 1-2, hook punch. 1-2, hook punch. Try to join that together as one smooth combination with the 2 footwork steps in there. So it should look a little bit more like this. Turn around. All right, let's speed that up now. Being able to step forward like this and use footwork in your combinations will enable you to land more punches. Because once you start landing punches on someone, a lot of the time they start backing up. So you need to be able to move forward and keep putting your combinations together. Now let's look at a different kind of footwork, bouncing. Okay, this is used a lot in traditional karate-based styles. They tend to do a sideways stance and throw a lot of lead leg kicks from this, and a lot of long reverse hand punches. But in Kudo or MMA, it's very dangerous to use the sideways stance because you're susceptible to low kicks. You can't block your low kicks easily from here, and you tend to get kicked behind the thigh. It only takes a few of those to cause a lot of problems with your movement, okay? So you need to have a more squarer stance so that you can check kicks, okay? So you can defend against takedowns, right? So we're gonna keep our squarer stance and we're gonna bounce. But we're not gonna bounce up and down in the air. That's just gonna make you easy to sweep, easy to take down. We're gonna sink into the floor, sink. So our legs are like suspension, like big springs, and you're compressing and expanding those springs. You're building up the energy in your legs. That energy is what gives you the energy to propel yourself forward, okay? So first, just bounce on the spot and think about sinking down, okay? This is the first. In your fighting stance, stay on the balls of your feet. Don't be on your heels. Balls of the feet, on your toes. Okay, and just sinking, bending and rising, okay? Okay, now give yourself a little bit of a rock forward and backwards. Just shift your weight front and back. Forward leg, back leg. Forward leg, back leg. Okay, once you get a feel for that, start propelling yourself forward a bit more. Forward and back. Forward and back, staying on your toes. Okay, this is an in-out movement. I call this in-out. So going in and out, in and out, in and out of range. Okay, now we're going to fire a jab on the in. Jab, 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 jab. Now change that to a hook punch. Hook, hook. You can do long hook, short hook, up to you. I like the long. So I'm moving forward, it's the same kind of movement as a long hook. Now an uppercut. Make sure you're using your hips as well. Twist and upper. Now right straight. Right hook. Use your hips. Right upper. Twist those hips. Us. So, mastering this bouncing energy will help you to make your attacks faster and more explosive. You're learning how to use the floor and how to propel yourself into attacks with more explosive power. Okay. Now, you may not want to bounce like that constantly for a whole fight. It can get tiring. But mixing this kind of bouncing movement into your sparring, into your footwork, can certainly make a difference to your ability to be mobile and explosive when you fight. Okay, the next intermediate drill is cutting angles with a slip. Okay, so from the fighting stance, we're going to take a little step 45 degrees with our lead foot, and we're going to dip our rear shoulder. Our rear shoulder is going to dip. Keep your hands up, okay? So this is a slip. Imagine a straight punch is coming at you. You slip to the outside, okay? Some people like to keep their hand up when they slip. I like to keep the opposite hand up for kicks, okay? So you slip to the outside. Then you're going to pivot, like the step and pivot in the basic drills, and pivot. This time I'm not going to pivot quite so far. I'm not going to go all the way to 90 degrees. I'm going to create somewhere in between here and here, in the middle, right there. That's my sweet spot for landing a straight or an uppercut or a left uppercut, okay? So I'm going to little step as I slip, and then pivot, whoop, and then step back, and repeat. Slip and pivot, step back, slip and pivot, step back, slip and pivot, and back, slip and pivot. All right, let's add a punch onto that. We're going to throw a left uppercut as we step and pivot. So as I slip, now my hips are loaded to throw a left upper. As I pivot, bang, left uppercut. Or you can throw a left hook. It's the same. Step and pivot, left hook. Short hook or long hook, up to you. Step and slip, pivot and hook. Okay? Slip, hook. Or uppercut. Slip, upper. All right, now speed that up. Of course, this can also be a parry to a right straight rather than a slip and hook. There are many ways to use this movement in your drills to set up punches on an angle. Now let's look at going to the other side. This time we're going to take a little step outside with our rear foot as we slip outside and dip our lead shoulder. So their punch is sailing just past my ear. So I slip here, and this is now put me on an angle. If I straighten my body up, I'm now at an angle to my opponent, who should be standing right here. And I am behind his lead shoulder if he's orthodox. I'm behind his lead shoulder. It's hard for him to hit me with this hand. Hard for him to kick me. The danger is if he spins. It's another reason why I keep my outside hand up. Okay? So when I slip, up, my hand's up. And then I'm going to punch from here. Bam. Okay? Or uppercut. Bang. All right? Step outside, slip, up. Step outside, slip, straight. That's up to you. Step and punch. Step, slip, and punch. Step, slip, punch. Speeding it up. Us! So in Kudo or Daido Juku, we don't practice kata, and that is one thing that separates us from traditional karate. However, we do have Ido, which is a form which basically means movement drills, and it's where we practice footwork and combinations. We also use shadow boxing, pad work, and drills with partners to replace kata training as a more effective tool of learning our techniques. So for that reason, I think it's very important that you approach these drills just like a traditional karateka would approach his kata. Aim for perfection, precision of movement, speed, effortlessness. Work on really perfecting your movement through these drills, and don't just take a lazy, haphazard approach to it. So there you have some intermediate footwork drills. Practice, practice, and practice some more until they're natural and you can do them without thinking. Put them in your shadow boxing, okay? Practicing these drills will help you connect your combinations together with your movement, keeping you in range, using explosive movement to get in and out of range, and using footwork to create angles where you are safe and setting your opponent up out of balance, vulnerable, where your attacks can do the most damage. Us!